But then again, it's hard when we're dealing with a sale like this. I mean, it's just like you have two options: this house or one that's pretty much on fire still.
So this happened last Friday. No, this happened this morning. I woke up this morning and then I got, this is one of the texts. So you're kind of looking at a kind of a bad day here. It says, "Hey Chris, after talking with you last Friday, we as a family over the weekend discussed the length and the pros and the cons of moving. Kim and I decided that we are going to stay. Our eldest son, blah, blah, blah," and they gave us all the reasons. But then at the end, he says, "Thanks for everything, Chris. I believe that we crossed paths for a reason." So at the end of the day, I got a text basically saying that they do not want to sell their house at all. So it's not a terrible text, right? It's not like they hate me, but I showed them several houses because their plan was to move. I negotiated with them on actually a transaction that didn't go through. I didn't talk to them about listing their house. I started to give them advice on how to do that. We're talking hours and hours of time. And then this is what I get. It's not even a phone call. It's just a long text and a bunch of exclamation points and smiley faces. And then the response I got, I said, making a decision to move is a super personal thing. I'm honored that you let me be a part of that process. Let's keep in touch. And so here's the deal. And I fully mean what I texted. Like, it is a very personal, very challenging thing to do. Where you lay your head is a very emotional process. Like, that's where you raise your family. It is a big deal, and I do not underestimate nor pretend to think that that is a small deal. However, it does take a lot of work in order to do that, and to help someone do that. And if you're in real estate, I don't get paid unless I get a result. And right now I'm pretty happy that I helped someone. I helped someone figure out what they wanted to do. He's going to go to sleep tomorrow, and he's going to wake up tomorrow happy with the decision that he made. I know this because we went through the process. We made every single discovery possible out there, and he made a decision. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys. Appreciate you watching. So I'm about ready to go stop at a client's house who's ghosted me on a pending transaction. I'm like, "Hey, we're in closing in a few weeks," and for 3 or 4 days I haven't heard anything. So I hope he's okay. I gotta go talk to him. Gotta figure out what's going on. So now I'm on my way to another listing appointment. Called this guy yesterday, a few days ago. He was for sale by an owner. Talked to him a little bit. I'm like, "Hey, why don't you just let me take a look at it? Ideally, if we can get it in front of 100 buyers opposed to just 10 buyers, why wouldn't we do that? At least let's talk about what that looks like." So excited about it. Let's just see how it ends up going. So sounds like he basically said he's terminating. It's basically what happened. It's just terrible, right? Calls me, has a bunch of complaints. I'm like, all right, well, let's figure it out. Let's go from there. And then ghost, nothing, like zero. And that was because really, I think it has more to do with his dad. His dad, whom's never seen the house, my ex-client, is a 55-year-old man, has never bought a house before. And his dad's like, "Don't do it, don't buy." I'm like, all right, if you want, you can just rent for your entire life, throw thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars away. But now the real hot conversation is, because we're outside of all of our agreements here, like we're outside of every single one of because built inside the boilerplate of the contract, there's a lot of buyer safeguards. Like there is a lot of things that you get to work through. And as you work through the process, there's a lot of recourse. Like you can back out, and there's times in which it's appropriate to do that. But all of those time frames, all of those opportunities, or discovery process, however you want to say it, all have an expiration on them. 10 days after this thing, 15 days after this inspection, 15 days after you get title work, you can do a survey. So there's just a lot of stuff built into our boilerplate, and he just superseded. He just ignored all of those, and now at 2 weeks before we got to close, he's like, "I don't want it." And so whatever, we're going to terminate. We're going to see what ends up happening. My real hope is that they just relist the house and everything's fine. They could potentially sue him, right? And they probably have legal right to do it, and I don't really know. know contractually I've never seen it happen before, but we're going to find out. The real hard conversation isn't a conversation I just had, right? Because there's whatever, you made up your mind, I'm not going to fight you on it, you just sign this, I don't want to deal with you anymore. The real hard conversation is going to be with the listing agent, which I'm going to do as soon as I get back to my office. So Audrey told me, which is a person I have, my social media editor, she's amazing, but she told me I need to take all my videos in landscape. I'm going to post them on Facebook, or not Facebook, what is it? In the one with the red thing on it? YouTube. I'm going to post it on YouTube. So here it is. Anyway, so got another listing appointment tonight, and if I'm not careful, I'm going to get my hair cut too. It's probably going to look amazing. If I'm not careful, I'm going to take the negativity I got from the previous 2 events that took place this morning and bring that to the listing. So, and if I'm not careful, so that's the worst thing that could probably happen. The other worst thing that could happen is that I take my negativity that happened to me, I wouldn't even say it's negativity, it just happened. I could take that to like the rest of the people, like my other members of my team and my coworkers or my business partners, or even the hairstylist, which I'm about to go get my hair cut. So all of that stuff, if I'm not careful, will spread. So I have to stop it. Just stop it right now. Quit it. And I'm feeling better about it, especially after talking to you guys. So, all in all, what on earth? Holy crap. Anyway, went good. The appointment, I just went on one appointment, went well. They just actually canceled with their other agent like 3 weeks ago. I guess, how do I think the appointment went? We are struggling in one of the townships because there's about potentially a $20,000 assessment being added to at the end of the day. I mean, it's really only a $12,000, $13,000, maybe $15,000 assessment, which is a big deal, a mandatory payment that you're either going to have to pay over the next 20 years. You got to pay it all up front to hook city sewer up. So it's kind of a big deal. I don't have an extra $20,000 floating around right now. I'm pretty sure most people don't either. That's there, $20,000. So, and then this guy wants to sell his house. The $20,000 bill's looming over his head. And then, 12, sorry, not 20, exaggeration. $12,000 payments looming over his head. And then it's going to be $5,000 to run the pipes and reroute the plumbing in his house all the way to the sewer. So it's quite ridiculous. And so the idea of us getting a buyer to potentially pay that up front is going to be rough. So basically we're talking about strategies in order to get the process started. So that's one thing we need to do. There's a lot of things involving the pictures, the previous pictures. His house was just poorly marketed, even though it has good exposure due to the sign. So all in all, I say it's definitely a doable sale, but we have to do a few of the right things in order to make the sale. And so if you are selling your house, do preemptive work to the property, yes, but it's what's more important than doing the work is letting the buyer know the work needs to be done. And what I mean by that is expectations that are then met makes people happy. Now, McDonald's has a pretty average or bad burger, but I'm never unhappy with the burger I get at McDonald's because it meets my expectations every single time. And we have to do the same thing when selling a house. So when a buyer purchases a property or they move forward on it, they have this dream inside their head that everything's perfect with the house. And it's not necessarily perfect. Not everything's perfect with the home. But if they know that in advance, the odds are they're going to have a much smoother transaction because the condition of the house is meeting their expectations. So keep that in mind. Just like get a pre-inspection on your home and then fix all the repairs in the pre-inspection. And you can do that with yourself, or you can DIY it, or you have the time that you need to price out contractors to get the work done. If you're willing to do that, the odds are, when a buyer comes in to look at it, he's not going to ask for you to repair it twice. and he's going to be satisfied and comfortable. He's going to, in a sense, bid with more confidence. So anyway, those is kind of the takeaway, I guess. So we're going to talk to him. We're going to kind of figure out what's going on with the township. At the gym, I'm grabbing my stuff. You can see it back there, my bags. I'm going to go do jiu-jitsu. Just got done, got home. It's 9:15, so now I'm gonna go get my stuff together, get ready for tomorrow, and then head to bed and wake up and do it all over again.